My name is Dumisani Kubayi. I'm from KMDNF and I'm CEO of the company. Largely we focus on your bulk mineral products and mainly we focus on your exploration of your mineral commodities. So currently we have a focus within your Bushveld complex, mainly in your Thabazimbi area as well as your Lephalale region. What we're focusing more, it's your chromium product. To South Africa, chromium is a critical mineral, mainly based on it, having many varieties whereby you can, put that into your steel and your car manufacturing. So there's a large demand for the commodity at the moment, and the main focus for this commodity is mainly because the prices currently are quite stable, and it's much easier to gain investment within your chromium space and as well as your bulk mineral, your bulk mineral commodities. And within the Lephalale region, we're also looking at your nickel as well as your manganese projects. So currently we're busy with 4 exploration projects, 2 in Thabazimbi and 2 in Lephalale. So currently, well, your emerging miners in South Africa face, numerous challenges. The first challenge is actually, gaining access to the geological information of where your minerals are situated. And in that, the second challenge, because most of, your emerging miners, most don't even have a real background of the mining industry in itself. So what happens is, to gain access to the geological information is a major barrier. The second barrier is the application process. With the application process, you have many issues with consultants. You may not get, ready information and maybe always precise information that you really require as an emerging miner. And with that, there's a big delay and a buffer in time between the state and your smaller companies in terms of turnaround time when you look at your application processes. I mean, one process can even go up to 5 years, unfortunately for many emerging miners. And within that 5 years, many emerging miners, you may find that you've gained an investor that's looking towards a project, but because of buffer in time, you find they walk away from maybe that prospective project and looking elsewhere. For example, with us, KMDNF, we faced such challenges whereby we've had investors in the past, but they've looked elsewhere and went to Saudi Arabia, whereby your application processes are quite fast. So delays in application processes really hinder the advancement of your smaller players within South Africa. And how you work around that, well, it's really tough. There's very little you can do because for the most part, it's state regulated. You have to wait for state. So there's not much that can be done unless it's the state itself that really changes how it does business, especially with the smaller players. Within the application format, I think there's very little that they can do. Remember, what we need to always understand is that the mining is a very competitive industry. However, where the private sector or your larger mining companies can contribute, it's mainly in your development phase of the mine. For instance, you find that there's a challenge when you're looking at setting up infrastructure like your wash plants and also gaining access into rail. So I think there should be share use agreements within South Africa. I think it's something that needs to be pushed, and it was touched on yesterday. So share use infrastructure, I think it's a model that needs to be adopted in South Africa, mostly as as an integrated approach within the mining industry under what we refer to as mandated access. I think if that could be implemented, I think it would make it much easier for your smaller players, mainly because setting up infrastructure alone can dissuade the investment of focusing more on the mining, and you'd put it into your infrastructure. Now, if there's a mandated access in South Africa, I think it can actually help your smaller players because instead of focusing on building such infrastructure, they're able to focus more on the mining aspects of things. This event, it puts everyone in one setting. You're meeting your industry leaders, your ministers from different countries. And I think one thing we need to adopt is to understand that as much as South Africa may have a lot of minerals within its basket, but it does not have all the critical minerals. So meeting different people from different countries, you gain exposure to the minerals that are located in different countries, and also you get to meet your investors. Investors are the ones that actually drive investment, remember? Because of this, you are able to understand what they're looking for, as perturbed from what you may want. So I think for the most part, your smaller players kind of lack that information. You don't invest in mining or undertake mining projects without understanding the appetite from your mining investors.